Hey everyone, and welcome back to With Damilola. Not me filming with no makeup, guys. Today is a candid video, it's candid Damilola. But in today's video, I'm going to be talking about my educational journey up until year 12. So we're going to take a quick trip down memory lane. So I grew up in South London. I've always lived in South. You guys can probably tell by the way I speak. But yeah, I've always grown up in South. I went to primary school right by the river. So I went to primary school in Vauxhall. And from what I can remember, primary school was fun. Like, I've always enjoyed school. Like, even being sick, I would still find a way to go to school. Like, I never really missed a day of school. So my first memories actually of primary school was, I remember my mom told me that I kind of struggled with English because English wasn't our first language at home. So I remember starting reception, I think, and the teachers were a bit worried because they were like, my English level is not as high as it should be for the current stage of learning that I'm at. So that's the first thing I remember about primary school. Evidently my English got better, and I believe it was just something that would get better with time, especially being in an environment where you had no choice but to speak English. So that's my first memory of primary school, all the way up till year 6. I never really had any issues. I feel like I've been quite friendly from a young age. Like, I like meeting new people, talking to new people. I don't mind it, so I never really struggled making friends. So primary school was cool. I enjoyed school. I would always make sure I was in school even when I was sick. I don't think I missed many days of primary school and even secondary school. So I remember always doing well academically in primary school. I never really struggled, apart from English. I never really struggled with science, especially. Science was my favourite. Maths was okay for me at that time as well. So that was cool. I made a lot of friends. I feel like I was quite popular. And in primary school, I don't know how they do it now, but you had tables, and if you were on a certain table, so I think it was like a red table, you were like the smartest in the class. I was always the table just below red or red throughout my whole primary school journey. So primary school was done year 6, and we had moved to a different area of South. So I didn't go to secondary school with anyone from my primary school. I remember going to secondary school in Croydon. Whole different experience, but it was a school that I chose myself. So when I got to year 6, and obviously it was time to apply for secondary school, my mum kind of gave me free rein. She allowed me to pick the schools that I was interested in, or the schools that I'd heard about. And at that time we'd moved, so there was a school on my road, and I thought, let me just go and see what this school looks like. My mum wanted me to go to an all-girls school, so I didn't really have much of a choice. It was either that school or Lara Trait in Streatham, and there was another school, I've forgotten that school. But yeah, mum wanted me to go to an all-girls, so I didn't have much choice. So I went to this school down the road, and I really liked their open day. It caught my eye, especially their science. They put on like a science themed show for the open day, which really got me interested because I was a nerd, like a big neek. So that got me interested, and I thought, okay, like, I like this. The school's really close to my house. I can just walk. I don't have to stress about getting bus or being late. So I ended up going to school that was really close to home. Secondary school was so different. I feel like I'd always been okay with making friends, but when I got to secondary school, I kind of felt like it was hard to adjust, especially because I didn't know anyone. So I was kind of thrown into the deep end, and I had to jazz up and make friends. It wasn't hard, but it was different. And I feel like when you get to secondary school, that's when you start to notice, you obviously start to become your own person, and you start to figure out what things you like and what things you don't like, people you want to associate with, people you don't want to associate with. you figure that out, unless obviously it's obscured by peer pressure. So secondary school was fine. You have to do like those mini tests in the beginning so they can allocate you to your sets. I remember doing really well on those, and I was in top set for everything, all of my lessons. And being in top set, as I went to a Catholic all-girls school, we had to do Latin as well. So I found that really fun, and it was so different coming from the primary school that I'd gone to, where you just did basic Spanish and French, I think, in language. So in year 7, I was doing Spanish, French, and Latin, which was really fun, and it was really different to what most students were doing at secondary school. Year 8 comes, still going okay, no issues, still in top set, made a good amount of friends now. I have my own friendship group, starting to establish myself in the school, and starting to get to know people in the older years. Because you know, when you're in secondary school, you need to know some olders, because there's some people that will try and rattle you, but if you have olders, no one's going to do nothing. So that's what year 8 was about. And then year 9, then you start to get a bit more serious, you start thinking about the future. For me anyway, that's how year 9 went for me, especially because we had to pick our options as well. So I was excited. I thought, yeah, like, I'm starting to pick up the reins on my life, starting to choose and starting to decide the pathway I want to go down. And at this moment in time is when I kind of started to deep that, yeah, I would like to pursue medicine. And medicine's always been on my mind. Like, I've always welcomed the idea of being a doctor. And I remember saying to my mum when I was really young that I wanted to be a doctor, and it just stuck. It never left. So that's what, when I got to year 9, it just reinforced that vision that I had for myself. So in year 9 is actually when I first searched the requirements to become a doctor, and I remember seeing you needed to really do well in the sciences, and I don't know where maths came along, but that's when I started taking maths a bit seriously. But I was crap at maths. I'm not saying I was rubbish, but I was just I was average, I would say. Just a bit higher than average for me to like be in top set, but it wasn't all that. Like, it was just your bare minimum, basically. That's what I felt like anyway. But when it came to triple science, that was my specialty. That was my field of expertise. I always did well in science. I didn't really have to do that much work. I just got the concepts easily. Biology I kind of struggled with. Like, I got the concept of biology, but answering the questions was my main issue. I always struggled with answering the questions, and I felt like I did what I needed to just based on memory, or just constantly doing papers over and over again. So I had the answers memorized in my head. I had an idea of what I needed to write. But yeah, biology, when it came to triple science, wasn't my strongest science. But for chemistry and physics, I was really cool with those two. So then, options year 9, obviously I picked triple science. I picked history as well. I loved history. I still love history till now. I like reading. I picked GCSE PE. This is when I started playing basketball. Fun fact, I used to play basketball. I picked GCSE history, GCSE PE. I also picked GCSE Latin, and I picked GCSE Spanish. Yeah, those were my options. So I had Spanish, history, triple science, Latin, and PE. Weird combination, but I kind of wanted to enjoy my options as well, and I liked history, I liked Spanish, I loved Espanol, like, I loved that language. But now, growing up, I also really liked French, and I feel like I should have taken French as well. But we ain't gonna get into that. But yeah, those are my options, and I enjoyed those options. They were really cool, really fun. I put a lot of my energy into triple science. It wasn't even that much energy, but that's what I focused on. So I did really well in those at the end of GCSE, and the other ones I think I got an A in history and A in Spanish. GCSE PE, yeah, it wasn't slapping as much as I thought it was actually a lot more work than I thought it would be. So I ended up getting a B in that, or a C. It was probably a C. And I ended up getting a C in GCSE Latin, which I was very happy about because GCSE Latin was not easy. It actually was not easy. But I liked the fact that I did Latin because it helped me understand Espanol. It helped me understand Spanish a bit more, actually. And I just understood why the language looked the way it did because I did Latin did Latin throughout the years from year 7. So, obviously when you're in year 11, you're starting to look for sixth forms, and at that moment in time, I had decided that I was not going to stay at my secondary school because I just felt like the secondary school wouldn't put me in the best position to do well at A-level, and they wouldn't be able to support me enough with my medicine application. So I just wanted to be in the best place possible to ensure that I had the best chances of getting into med school. So when looking for a sixth form, I decided that I didn't want to go to like SFX or CTK, and that's where a lot of my friends were running to at the time. Maybe not friends, associates, acquaintances, sorry. I sound like a lawyer, but acquaintances, a lot of my acquaintances were running to like SFX, I was about to say STK. Oh my god, guys, I'm tired. But a lot of my friends, a lot of my acquaintances were running to SFX, CTK, like, you know, sixth form colleges. But I just wanted to go to a specifically sixth form only. I didn't want to do all of the extra college stuff. Like, I really wanted to focus on my education at A-level. So I remember looking for sixth form specifically, and I looked at Dunraven, I looked at Graveney, I looked at a school in Beckenham, so which was like Bromley area, really different to the areas that I'd grown up in, really different to the people that I'd gone to school with. So I actually got into all of my sixth forms that I applied to. I remember getting into Graveney, and when I got into Graveney, I was offered an interview. Before I got into Graveney, I was offered an interview. I had to attend the interview in order to get in. So I attended the interview, and I feel like this was the first time where I'd ever had a teacher kind of downgrade my dreams for the future. And the teacher just kind of made me feel really horrible about even the subjects that I'd chosen. They didn't understand why I was choosing those type of subjects. So at the interview, the teacher was like, oh, what subjects would you like to do at A-level? And I was like, I would like to do biology, chemistry, maths, and physics. And the teacher just looked at me, oh, like, why would you like to do these subjects? And I explained that I wanted to study medicine, and I also really liked triple science, and I was okay at maths. I felt like these were feasible subjects, and they matched the grade, they matched the subject entry requirements for university. And the look the teacher gave me was like, you're not capable, you're not giving what a doctor looks like, or the type of person I envision a doctor to be. That was the vibe that they gave me. So after I had that experience at Graveney, I was just like, yeah, no, I'm not coming here. And it was so disheartening because I'd heard so many good things about Graveney, but that interview just made me feel like I wouldn't fit in, and that was really important to me as well. As well as obviously putting myself in the best position to apply for medicine, I wanted to still enjoy my time at sixth form and enjoy the people that I met there. And I just felt like if this is the type of teacher that I'm going to come across, this is not the type of learning that I would like to engage with. So I wrote them off. I got in, but I wrote them off. I was like, I'm not going there. Dunraven was pretty cool as well, but I liked the other school that I had applied to. So I just decided to run with the school in Beckenham because I got in there, and I liked the fact that I had a bit of a commute from the house because I was so used to just literally rolling out of bed, getting ready and walking down the hill to school. I wanted to actually have that experience and responsibility of having to get to school on time and not living close to the school. So that's kind of what went into me choosing a sixth form, choosing where to do my A-level. So I wanted it to be a good school, a good amount of resources to help with my application to medicine, and just to have a little bit of a travel so I didn't have to stay so close to home, and I actually got to enjoy that commuting to school experience. So yeah, GCSEs were cool, got my GCSE results, got in, enrolled to sixth form, but even when I enrolled to sixth form, there was a bit of a hiccup. So I got a B at GCSE maths, in GCSE maths, and I wanted to do A-level maths. So when I went to enroll, the sixth one were like, we're not going to allow you to do A-level maths unless you have an A at GCSE. And guys, I literally felt like my whole world came crashing down. Like, I was so upset, guys. Like, I started crying from there, and I cried all the way home. You lot are going to see throughout this journey how much of a crybaby I am. But we thank God for growth. I don't cry as much as I used to. I was so upset. Like, I just couldn't. I felt like they were ripping my dream out of my chest. I just couldn't believe that I couldn't do maths, because I felt like that's what you needed to do medicine. But I didn't know at the time that it was mainly Oxbridge and I think Imperial / UCL maybe that I really wanted biology, chemistry, maths. And apart from those 3 universities, there are so many universities that do medicine that didn't require maths. I didn't know that. So I've gone home, then I've checked what you needed for these other universities as well. And I noticed that you didn't need maths. So I was just crying for no reason, basically. My dream of doing medicine was still very attainable. So I went back the next day and I just told them, okay, cool, I don't want to do the maths and physics. And at that school, if you wanted to do physics, you had to do maths. So there was no way I was doing both of those. So I stuck with biology, chemistry, and I added government and politics and economics. And guys, when I say that was the best decision I ever made, and it's so weird that it came from an area of upset and hurt, basically, because I wasn't able to do the subjects that I envisioned originally. So I ended up doing economics and politics, and I really, really enjoyed those 2 subjects. Like, really, really, really enjoyed economics and politics, to the point where if I had randomly decided, okay, I don't want to be a doctor anymore, I would have been happy to go to that side of the sciences. Like, I loved economics, like, really, really loved it till this day. And politics, because it was just combined with history and just present affairs, which I really, really enjoyed, because like, it's the life that's happening around you and you get to incorporate that into learning about politics. Like, it just made sense in my head, so I really, really enjoyed that. So yeah, 6th form started, it was really good. I remember I was learning how to drive at the same time. So life was good, like, no complaints. I was doing what I needed to do in order to get to the stage where I could start putting my application together for medicine. And I remember just getting down all of my work experience and just planning myself for the end of year 12, leading to the beginning of year 13, where you had to start putting your application together, because the deadline for medicine was really early. So year 12 was cool, it was fun. 6th form wasn't the easiest, I can't lie. I feel like it fit it ticked boxes for resources and being a really good 6th form. But in terms of me enjoying my time there, very, very questionable. It was predominantly white, so it made it very hard for me to fit in. There were black people, which I'm grateful for. So I had my friendship group with people that I liked, etc. So that was cool, but just sometimes the way that other students made you feel in the classroom was just not encouraging, and it just wasn't the most friendliest of institutions to learn in, I believe. I obviously still learned a lot from there, but if I could go back, I feel like I could have potentially gone to a different 6th form if I knew that's what it would have looked like. But at the end of the day, they are still part of my journey, and I still feel like I learned quite a bit from the 6th form. So before I start rambling on, I'm just going to round up the video quickly. So year 12 went cool. I ended up finishing with 4 Bs at AS level, and then I dropped economics because I would have loved to have continued, but I just felt like I needed to put all my energy and time into biology, chemistry, and politics. I felt like I could do in my sleep, so I just kept politics. because at that time our A-levels had been made linear, so we didn't have the option of doing like the old style A-level, which was you do your AS exams, they count for half of your A-level, then you do your A2 exams, they count for the other half. For us, everything count, and it was one exam, like 3 exams, but you sat them and they included your AS content and your A2 content. So I had to really buckle down. That's why I dropped economics. So guys, thank you so much for listening to that part of my educational journey. Make sure you tune in for the next video, because that's going to be me talking about my actual specific journey to medicine. And yeah, I feel like that's what a lot of you guys have been waiting for. So thank you for listening to this video. If you enjoyed the video, please like. If you want to hear more, please subscribe and press the bell for notifications on when I drop content.